Good morning. I hope you had a fantastic night. Today we'll be talking about striking, kickboxing, and EA Sports UFC 2, my favorite thing to do in the game. Now, I gotta tell you, you guys have improved drastically. And when I say improved, I mean really improved. I play some of you guys now, and I am so mesmerized at your ability to keep distance, your ability to land combinations that most people don't land on me, and you do it consistently. That is really awesome. So a vast majority of you are already really good strikers in the game, not to mention really good grapplers. Like, a lot of you are really high level at the game, but there are four things that I personally feel that if you added to your striking game, it would literally elevate you. It will take you from good striker or decent striker to great striker in the EA Sports UFC 2 world. Number one is something that I am very surprised that a lot of people are not doing, especially considering how long EA Sports UFC 2 has actually been out. And that is basically swaying when you miss a shot. A lot of times when you're facing someone that is really elusive, you're going to miss shots over and over again. Or if you're facing someone who wants to counter, you will be missing shots because they'll be moving their head. When you throw a shot and you miss, it's important to remember that they want you to miss and they want to be able to counter you as soon as you miss that shot. That's what I'm going to be trying to do. And I find it really shocking that when I face strikers or good strikers, when they miss, they're there to be hit after they miss. What you should be doing is every single time you throw a shot, especially when it comes to punches, with kicks it's gonna be a little harder, but when you throw a punch, it's very important. When you miss, if you don't land it, even if you land it sometimes, sway back. You either sway back, sway to the side, sway forward, sway down, but if you miss, get your head out the way. You need to anticipate that the opponent in front of you that you've just missed a shot is going to try to counter, and you don't want to be there when he does counter. So when you miss, sway. That would almost always guarantee that you're not gonna get hit with counter shots, and it's also going to help with your conditioning because the more you get hit, the more stamina you lose. So number one, when you miss, sway. Sway, get your head out the way to avoid getting countered. Number two has to do with how you close the distance. A lot of people that I see in the game, when they strike, they just literally casually walk into that distance, especially when they're facing a fighter, a striker that wants to move backwards and counter. When you're facing someone like that and you just casually walk into the distance, you are literally making it extremely easy to be countered, because as you're moving forward, you can't block your head and body. You can either move forward blocking your head or you can move forward blocking your body. And as you're moving forward and you bring yourself into that distance, into the firing range, I can see exactly what is open and I can hit you easily. For most people, it is the body kick. They just literally walk into that distance. The second I see you close that distance, I'm gonna fire off a body kick and I'm gonna land it. What is the right way to close the distance, especially when you're facing someone that wants to counter, someone that wants to hang back, watch what you're doing, and then pick you off? The right way to close the distance is to lunge into your shots. When I say lunge into your shots, I'm not talking about holding forward and then striking. That is really slow. What I mean is flick the left stick towards your opponent. When you flick the left stick towards your opponent, there's a dash, a forward dash that happens. It's very fast. It's really hard to read, especially if you do it at the right time. So for example, if you want to throw a forward dash straight punch to the head, what do? You flick the left stick towards your opponent. You flick it and immediately press triangle. Flick, triangle. Flick, triangle. When you flick it like that, your opponent is going to perform a forward dash, and the second you close that distance, you're going to throw a straight to the head. It's going to make the straight punch come out very quickly, almost blindingly fast. It's going to be impossible for your opponent to react to that naturally. They'll have to anticipate you doing that to be able to react to it. So when you forward dash and you hit your opponent, you're closing the distance in a way that they cannot read. They're not going to see you coming. You can pair a lot of different strikes with the forward dash. If what you want to do is point fight, I know Martial Mind is teaching people how to point fight, whatever. If what you want to do is point fight, you can forward dash hit your opponent, get the hell out the way. That is the most efficient way to close the distance. Disclaimer though, disclaimer, I want to tell you this. Do not say I did not warn you. This takes up a lot of stamina. So when I say use this to close the distance, I don't mean use only this to close the distance. That would be a terrible mistake. Your opponent is going to see what you're doing, and if he's smart, he's just going to hang back and let you forward dash yourself into oblivion. You need to use it sparingly. Not every single time you want to close the distance. You need to try to catch the opponent off guard when you do that. So if they're moving forward, they're really closing that distance on you, boom, forward dash, catch them. But don't do it over and over and over and over again, because if you're facing a grappler, they will be able to take you down, or they can just hang back and you will waste your stamina. Do not spam it. Do not use it the whole entire fight. You will regret it. I want to make sure that is it. You have to. Do not use it the whole entire fight. Please don't do it. You will lose stamina. Number three is really important if you are a counter striker, if you are the kind of person that wants to hang back and draw the opponent in and then counter. I am talking about the pull counter. The pull counter is when you see a shot coming, you sway back and you return fire. I know that sounds like such a simple thing, but there are a lot of players in the game that are not using the pull counter to its most effect. Now, a lot of people who watch my channel, or a lot of people who fight in a similar style that I do, you will see them use the pull counter. And if you try to move forward on them and you try to throw reckless shots, you will get pull countered and you will get knocked out. In boxing, no one does the pull counter better than Floyd Mayweather. He is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to that technique. In the mixed martial arts, I've not seen anyone else perform the pull counter better than Conor McGregor. He used that very well in his fight against Eddie Alvarez, and that's exactly what he used to actually knock him out. Now, because of how fast EA Sports UFC 2 is, and how fast those combinations come, and how fast single shots are in most cases, it is basically impossible for you to react to a single shot like a boxer can react to a single shot. If you throw a lazy jab at a boxer, he can sway that thing back and return fire. But in EA Sports UFC 2, you've got lag issues to deal with, you've got input lag to deal with, you've got the fact that the game is not in first person mode, so a lot of these shots are coming from weird angles. So what I personally do when it comes to the pull counter is I don't try to sway the first strike. Like I said, that is basically impossible for you to consistently sway the first strike. You won't be able to do it. When you watch the way most players play the game, they usually throw more than one shot. Very few people out there will fight you by throwing single shots. A lot of people love combinations. They would throw jab straight, or they would throw jab straight. They usually pair the first strike with another strike, and I try to sway the second one. So you don't aim to perform the pull counter on reaction. You have to try to do it by anticipating the second strike. So if you see an opponent coming at you in the first round, maybe you hang around, watch him, see what he's doing. You see that he is going for the jab straight. So what do? Hang back a little bit. He throws the jab. You see the straight coming, okay, so you've read him. You back up a little bit, he throws jab, you sway. As the straight is coming, you sway back. It misses you immediately. You fire back with your own shot. The shot that I suggest you fire back with is the same shot that good boxers fire back with when they sway, when they pull. They return fire with the straight punch. The straight punch is the most effective punch to return fire with when you pull back, because it is almost as fast as a jab, but it does more damage. In EA Sports UFC 2, the straight is really good because it's going to grant you a very small hit reaction, and when you get that hit reaction, you can almost always follow up with another shot. My favorite combo to throw when I pull counter is I pull counter, I fire off the straight, come up with the lead uppercut, and end with the straight shot. So Pull, straight, uppercut, straight. When you do that repeatedly in the fight, you will get them out of there. You need to go into practice mode, practice that. It's not an easy thing to do because you have to hold L2, you have to hold down L2 to sway. And when you see that shot coming, hold L2, sway back, return fire with the straight. Boom, practice that. The more you practice it, it's gonna become muscle memory. You're gonna get used to it, and you'll find yourself doing that every single fight. And it's gonna be really hard for people to hit you. And every time they miss, you punish them. You punish them every single time. So add the pull counter to your arsenal, please. Number four is what is going to bring it all together. It doesn't matter how good your combinations are. It doesn't matter how good your timing is. This applies to real life, and it applies to the video game as well. All that stuff does not matter if you don't have the gas tank to keep going. It doesn't matter how fast a car is. It doesn't matter how powerful a car is, how beautiful a car is. It is basically useless if you don't have the fuel to keep it going. Which is why after Conor McGregor busted up Nate Diaz, the whole entire time was busting him up in the first fight, he gassed out and Nate Diaz choked him out. In EA Sports UFC 2, I come across really good strikers, but I can almost always guys, I can almost always guarantee to myself that if I just stay patient, I will get them in the later rounds. Because chances of you finishing me in the first round, if you're striking, are slim to none. I mean, you're gonna have to land something just out of the blue. So when I see a really good striker, someone that's doing some crazy things in there, I can see that they are gassing, because a lot of people just don't manage their stamina. Number 4, you need to manage your stamina. Keep an eye on your stamina and keep an eye on your opponent's stamina. If it's kind of looking like they're not being active enough and you're being active, especially if it's a 5-round fight, if it's a 3-round fight, you can kind of get away with it, because if you land enough shots in the first 2 rounds, you can take off the 3rd round and win on points. But in a 5-round fight, if you're starting to notice that your opponent is hanging back, he's not throwing a lot of shots, and he's keeping his stamina high, you need to take a deep breath, relax, and watch your own stamina. You don't want to do all that good work in the first few rounds and then lose the fight because you gassed out. That's just dumb. So don't do that. There are a lot of people out there that I see doing it. You come out in the first round, you're so good, you've got the combos, you're just going crazy, and I just hang back. I'm like, okay, do your thing. 4th and 5th round, you're a sitting duck. You have no stamina left, you're sluggish, you're just waddling around the whole place. Then I light you up and get you out of there, and you get mad and call me passive. Watch your stamina so that in the 4th and 5th round of the fight, you will still have enough conditioning to do your thing. You don't want to be a sitting duck. So this one might seem basic, but you will not believe how many people in this game do not know how to manage their stamina. Watch your stamina. So let's review. Number 1, as I said, you need to sway when you miss. When you throw a shot and you miss, sway to avoid getting countered. It's very important. Number 2, when you're facing someone that's being passive, or you're facing someone that wants to counter, or you're facing someone that's really aggressive, do not just casually walk into the distance. Lunge in, dash your way into the distance. It will be very difficult to read. You will be able to catch your opponent. Number 3, use the pull counter. When you see an opponent that's throwing more than one punch to your head, he throws a jab straight, let him throw the jab. Anticipate the second strike. Pull back, return fire. My strike of choice, the straight. If you want to do a combination, pull back, straight, uppercut, straight. Hit the opponent, you will be able to get him. Practice that. It's going to be very good if you can add that to your arsenal. And number 4, and the last one, manage your stamina. Everything we talked about today will be completely useless if you gas out in the first round. Manage your stamina. Know when you've done damage, know when to hang back, so that you can have the gas tank for the later rounds to actually continue doing damage, the same amount of damage you were doing in the earlier rounds. But that's it. Hope you guys benefit from this video. If you have any questions specifically about what I mentioned, leave them in the comment section. I'm eager to see what you guys think. And yeah, my job here is done. My job here is done. There really isn't much left that I can show you guys when it comes to striking. A lot of you are so high level, you might as well just disregard this video because what you do already works for you. But for those of you that feel like you can benefit from you know, a few tips, just a few reminders on things you should be doing, this video should serve a purpose. I really hope it does. But yeah, that's it. I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. Stay safe.